Mom.
Hey.
Hello.
Do 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 do.
Does anyone like that song?
Yeah, it's fun. Have you ever seen the real episode of Sesame Street? And he starts like jazzing out, and then the two girls that were going do do, they look at him like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then he goes back to mano. Like he gets embarrassed.
I haven't seen it.
Oh well, then you don't know it.
You were too. I know the song. I know this. I didn't.
Yeah, but you don't know this. You don't know the real thing behind it. You just know the pop culturized version that you're railing against because it's too known.
I mean, I was just trying to make a noise, and you were spot on with inserting that noise into that song, and then that made me feel like a piece of trash. So now I'm rebelling against that song.
It's sad that it makes you feel like a piece of trash.
No, I didn't like that. I didn't know where it came from. Look, the fact that you told me it came from Sesame Street, it softens my stance on it a bit.
Okay. It might have been from the 80s, but I think it's like when Sesame Street was still what it started out to be, which was like...
Yeah, back when Saturday Night Live was cool.
No, but for real, if you look at the difference, the shiny, crisp, clean Sesame Street that is happening, it's like all polished and pretty. Like the set is a lot
Why? That's
prettier.
reflective of the times. Gentrification came in and cleaned up Sesame Street. The original set, which was unheard of for the time, was movie quality. It's an artificial but lifelike patina of urban decay. It was all over.
You.
Yeah, and then the set today lacks the signs of use, wear, and damage that cities still show. Maybe it's in Tokyo. Maybe Sesame Street has been transplanted to Tokyo, where everything does look like that.
I guess.
Where it's as clean as could be.
It sucks because what they've done, it used to just be, this is the reality of kids' lives living in a city. It isn't always pretty. Things are old. Look at these things they're doing and these friendships that they have with, Gordon and whoever that live there. You know what I mean? Instead of it just existing the way that kids exist.
I think that's the big thing, is making a point of it. If you just show things
right
as being, it's like, all right, that's just the way it is. And it doesn't need to be, because the moment you say, look, and you make a point of it, it plants a seed. And then at some point the kid questions, why is this something that's being forced on me anyway? Is it different to begin with?
Right.
Kids will just accept it. Like, oh, I don't know. They don't think about it past that.
I feel like it's like if anytime Ellie is playing with a kid of a different race, if I was like, good for you, Elliot, like you're doing such a good job being, friends with all types of different people. Then all of a sudden it's in her head, like, am I doing something right by doing this and not doing that is wrong?
It was jarring for me. I remember because one of my first friends, his parents are from Ethiopia, so he's black, and we were just kids in preschool. And like the first time it came to light that some people were nasty to him because he was black, like that was jarring, and I didn't understand that. So I guess there's teaching that needs to happen because this does still exist.
Yeah, it's gross.
Well, you know what's gross?
What?
The old Big Bird.
Oh, yeah. How did he look before?
He looked disheveled.
The shined up Big Bird has been that way basically since the beginning. In the very beginning, he wasn't like that. In the very, very beginning.
That's what I'm talking about. The very, very, very beginning Big Bird.
Pilot.
Where his head is the size of a peanut and his beak stretches out for 6 feet. The proportions are off. I think that's what's going on. He really was a bird brain then. There's like no room in that head for a brain.
Can I do it now?
Yeah, that's your cue.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. This is actually the first time we've played the theme live. Usually we just start the show and then I add it in post. And
I like that you played it live. It feels nice.
It threw you off, though. You didn't even know when your cue to come in was.
Well, I did know when, but I didn't know if I was supposed to. I thought maybe, I was worried that we were going to do like a reverse of what you just said, which is like play it and then we'll add our stuff on top of it later, but it's not. Just making sure. Do you want to do it again?
Well, let's see. When you come in, it's pretty simple. Let's see if
I know when to come in.
Let's try it again.
Yeah, all right. Welcome to One Topic.
No, that's too soon. That's too
soon?
Yeah, that's too soon. You
All
were
right, let's go. I'll wait. All right, let's go. I got it. Welcome to One Topic.
No. I could hear you breathe.
Okay.
And you're just a hair too early.
Too early. Okay.
One more time.
Welcome to One
No,
Topic.
now you're too late.
Too late?
All right,
All right, I'll split the difference.
Then let me set it up for you. All right, I'll give you one more chance, and then I'm gonna.
All right. Welcome to One Topic.
Too late. Excuse me. I didn't mean to clear my throat on mic. Usually I'm good at muting, but my hands are busy with the fader and the button for this, and I just cleared. That's very unprofessional. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick
It's too late. Start
to
over.
one. No, I put it together every week. I know where it goes. This is your
Let me
last.
tell you where I want it to go. Can I do it where
Okay,
I
you
want
can
it to
do
go?
it. That's not going to
All
change.
right, where I feel like it really should go.
Because if you start doing that, then it's going to go back to the old model. We can't just change it up 180 episodes in.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher. That's too soon for you.
I think that's too soon.
Yeah.
I like to establish a bit.
Okay, I like that. I don't mind that.
Right there.
Welcome to what?
No, you were right. You're on
I was
it.
gonna do it. That's awesome.
But I was listening. I know. I understand your instinct in starting it early. And that's not wrong. I want you to know that I don't think it's wrong. I think at this
I don't
point,
think that you think it's wrong.
it was just
It's
established. This has been established, and that's what I'm going off of. And
Got
maybe if we were to start this over, I'd say, yeah, that's a good spot for it.
How about you point at me when you want me to start it?
Oh, you were actually waiting for me to point. I thought you had it. Okay, last time. Here we go.
It doesn't feel natural where you want it, but it's fine. I'm sure it sounds. It sounds.
That's very natural.
Yeah. Just it doesn't feel natural. Tell me when.
So that's the setup,
Yeah.
and then this establishes. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher,
And my name is Greg Russ.
and this week's topic. Usually that's where I take it, and I start to introduce the topic.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Oh, I didn't think you were going with that.
Oh, should I have done it? Because I was Greg Russ.
All right, whatever. You've watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit the other day with your kids.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Ugh.
You showed it.
Good.
You showed it to the kids. Ellie got into it. Pete got bored.
Well, he gets a little scared.
And he got scared and he ran away.
Yeah. And it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of, even Ellie didn't
Boring.
understand totally. She was like, why is that person dead? What? Why? Who? Why? And it is hard to follow. Like, even as a little kid, as a kid, when did it come out? I remember I had a Who Framed Roger Rabbit lunchbox. I remember being at the Kroger, getting the lunchbox before school started back, and I got that lunchbox, and I thought it was awesome.
88.
Perfect.
So you were younger than Ellie. You watched it in the theater.
I did see it in the theater.
And you probably got all of it. You picked up on every nuance, every joke. You followed
Maybe
the plot.
not every joke. Booby trap.
You were turned on by Jessica Rabbit, which has become...
I did look at both. I did try and watch both of them when that part was on to see.
What were you looking for?
I don't know, just their reaction.
Oh, you're watching the kids.
Yeah, I was watching the kids. See, like, what's your little brain think of this?
And what happened? What did you see? What did you document?
Pete went. And Ellie was just watching.
All right, so you watched the movie.
Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about, I was excited to see Christopher Lloyd. Obviously, I knew he was in it, but I don't know. I was just watching it as an adult and thinking about Christopher Lloyd. And I just was thinking, I wish I knew more about Christopher Lloyd. There's a lot of people that we know, a lot of celebrities that we know a lot about, a lot of actors and things. And he's just from that class of actors that we just don't know anything about. Like, we know the movies, not every movie, but we know a lot of the movies.
A shitload of movies. I was looking at his
Shitload.
filmography and television and theater. Like, this guy has been in a lot. And
It makes sense that he started in theater.
yeah, of course it does. Christopher Lloyd is one of my favorites. I had a Scream name back in the AIM days. It was Christopher Lloyd because somebody already had Christopher Lloyd. So I had
How do you spell Lloyd?
LLYOD instead of LLOYD as it's properly spelled.
Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Maybe if it was the double L like in Spanish, it would just be like Yad.
I think one of the things obviously is Back to the Future, but it's strange. I liked Back to the Future. That's what put Christopher Lloyd on the radar for me. But the thing that cemented it, and I'm somewhat embarrassed to say, it was that Dennis the Menace movie.
I love him in that Dennis the Menace movie.
Well, because he's amazing and he brings everything to that movie. Some actors you could see phoning it in, like, what the fuck, a Dennis the Menace movie, which I think you should bring your all. If you're going to sign on to a movie, no matter what it is, you had the choice. Nobody forced you to be there. You should do as best as you can and not half-ass it. And it was the first time, I think, in any actor, for whatever reason, I noticed and I took note of just the small things he was doing that made that part even better, even like facial expressions and things he would do subtly with his eyes. I don't want to see, I would say I was blown away because it didn't hit me that hard, and that would be quite the exaggeration. But I noticed it, and I thought it was cool. And
right, like it was significant for you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, wow. Because before, I don't know what I thought in my head, that acting was like Macaulay Culkin just acting on screen like a stupid, spoiled brat. Like if I would think about being an actor, especially I guess because I was young and around the age of Macaulay Culkin, it's like, yeah, I would just go on and I'd just be myself and I'd deliver the lines and I'd be a little smartass. And the art of it never registered in my brain until I don't even know the name of the character. I should have looked that up.
Did he have a name?
Yeah, just the hobo man who came to town.
The traveler.
What you eating there, sport?
Apple.
That scene in itself, and the way he stabs the apple with a switchblade, and when he takes a bite of it, and the look on his face.
It's real juicy, and he looks at the kid like, it's good.
I like that. He just came to town to cause trouble, and Dennis the Menace.
And it's just moseying through town, looking the way he looked.
I mean, I guess
like no attempt at subterfuge.
I guess you had Walter Matthau in that movie. Matthau.
Yeah, and Lily Tomlin.
Yeah, so there was a decent Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson. Who's Lily? Lily Tomlin is not the right one. No. Yeah, her. Whatever.
Let's see. What was this character's name in this? Right
she
now,
was
it's
hot in that movie. I felt like she was sexy.
Leah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess she's sexy. She wasn't not sexy.
Yeah.
It just never struck me.
Think of her as Marty McFly's mom.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Even though she was young at that point, I think of her as the old mom. There was so much influence
with the big chest plate in Las Vegas.
It was still Hill Valley.
Oh, okay.
It was just he had opened a casino because he owned the town.
Oh, it was. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I didn't get into that's number 2.
That's number 2.
Yeah, I was more into really the Western one. I liked that one the most.
All right, just going back quickly. We'll get to Back to the Future. Switchblade Sam was his name in Dennis the Menace. I don't think it's said at all in the film.
Okay.
But
he did have a switchblade.
He was credited as Switchblade Sam. And I would watch that movie over and over for that performance.
It's interesting, like we talked about in our early episode of, the Home Alone movies, where a movie like this is sort of slapsticky. It's got a ton of kids in it.
It's for kids. I mean, there was an appeal to an older audience, I guess, because Dennis the Menace had been around forever. But it was for kids with the idea that, parents are also familiar with this character, so they'll be more inclined to see it.
Sure, but I just feel like the way that the movie, I guess, was acted or executed by, either editors or the director or the screenplay or something, I can't put my finger on what makes a movie like Dennis the Menace still really good versus something like Home Alone 3. You know?
Because you were already going down that path. I thought when you set this up, we were talking about the acting that goes into it, notably by the adult supporting cast who commit themselves fully to the role.
But even in Dennis the Menace, oh no, it's Baby's Day Out. Okay, in Baby's Day Out, right? Like that has Cynthia Nixon, and she's a great actress. And it has that other guy. He was in oh my god, he was in that movie with Brendan Fraser and Steve Buscemi and Adam Sandler, where they play like the band that's trying to get their song on the air, and the DJ is a jerk. But then, it has Michael McKean in it.
You've completely lost me. I don't even know.
Airheads.
I don't know Baby's Day Out either.
Well, what I mean is that it's like there are really bad, stupid movies that have good actors in them, but it just turns into this like, I don't know, like it's just stupid movie. I can't put my finger on why it's.
I like the idea of reading your review in print. It's just a ... stupid drawn out with a bunch of U's.
Yeah, stupid.
Repeating vowels is stupid because, especially in the word stupid, but in general.
How about STOOO?
Sure, you can do that for effect if you want. But when people draw things out, and if they spelled stupid and drawn out STU P, no, because that's
no, I don't like that either.
You draw out the vowels. That's where you can draw this out, or a TH, I guess you could.
Unless you draw out every letter. Like if you want to tell someone, if you want to say little, you want to say like little, draw out all the I's. Or if you want to say he's really little, you say like L double T.
A soft consonant could work. A hard consonant, no way. But what a review you gave. Okay, great.
I know. I'm sorry. Like I said, I can't figure out what it is, but it's like it when you see it. For some reason.
Well, when you have to have the room, you have to have the room. Like some movies are written so stupidly, or the characters are so one-dimensional that there's no time to even explore anything. And then you have actors.
It was dimensional. Yeah, you're right. Like the people in Dennis the Menace did have dimension. It wasn't like, except for Christopher. Well, even Christopher Lloyd's character maybe had
dimension. He had this whole backstory we didn't know. There was a lot of mystery. And
Switchblade Sam. How did he get the name Switchblade Sam? Where did he get the switchblade from?
There was no time to explore it, nor did we need to know how he got to that point, which became a trend later on. It's like, why is the bad guy bad? Let's take a look at his backstory. Let's see how he got. We don't know how he got there, but he's there, and there's a lot to draw on as an actor at that point. It's like, I don't know, I have this whole life, and it's gotten me to this point where I'm roaming around to towns, and I'm leaning into the fact that I'm a scary figure, and I'm the kind of beans. Yeah, I'm a kind of guy who will steal an apple from a child after frightening the child. Children are taught not to speak to strangers. I come up. I'm a stranger. I look scary. I lean into it. He tells me what he's got, and I stab the apple and steal it and then give him a look. And so that says a lot. That says a lot about that person. Yeah, the bean scene, and you devolve into the fart after that, or he farts and the fire gets bigger.
But still, the way the way he uses those beans.
See, if he did that too much, then it would be dumb. It wouldn't work. This is why Christopher Lloyd is perfect in that role. He finds where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's right on the... he's not really even dancing the line between like coyingly sweet, sort of slapsticky, even though he's got like a coal in his butt and he's like his butthole's burning and he's farting and he's he's like landing on the ground really hard. And it's the same thing we talked about with Home Alone. It's like all of that stuff is like, if you added the whip sounds like when he's falling, I mean, it would cheapen it. It's like, but even without that,
I think there's a scene in Home Alone where he does slip down the stairs and there's like a whoop added to it, but yes, if it's overdone.
Yeah. But anyway, Christopher Lloyd is the best. And even you're talking about.
Sorry, I was pulling up this scene.
All right, go for it. Yeah.
So much of it's visual. It's kind of ridiculous to play on our podcast, but like this is him just walking up and surveying the neighborhood. The music was good too. The score
really good. Who does the score?
I don't know. Look it up.
All right, I'm looking it up.
Please. Kid's just rocking in his rocking chair with a Superman cape on in his yard. So he's like fenced in. It's his safe space. He's got his toys. He's got his swing set. Humming to himself. And then he sees the shadow of a creature standing behind him. What'd you think of being a child? That's scary.
I know.
So even that right there, the way Christopher Lloyd looks at the kid, when the kid turns around and he kind of leans himself on the fence, shifts his weight, tilts his head, gives the kid a smile.
A cheating ass sport.
Apple.
He's like taunting the kid with it at this point. Keeps making eye contact, cutting it with his knife.
He like gives his eyebrows go up.
And he just walks away, and that's the end of it. A very impactful scene. Won me over, right there. That was when I had my first favorite actor. I never had a favorite actor before, and I don't know if I've had one since. But Christopher Lloyd, not that I would call a favorite still to this day, because I don't tend to have favorites of anything. It's too much of a commitment. And
well, there's a lot of nuance and things that come when you're older, and to say something. What is your favorite?
Yeah, it's an emotional investment also, and if you say you have a favorite, someone else is going to not like that, and it's going to be their least favorite, and then they're going to shit on it, and that feels like an attack because, like, hey, I invested myself emotionally, so it's best to just avoid altogether.
Wow. Okay, so the guy that composed it, his name's Jerry Goldsmith. He did a ton of Star Trek stuff.
All right, so he's won you over. You're in.
Well, he also did the new seasons of Picard. Ooh, he did Nemesis, which is a bad movie.
Well, look, he's there. He's their guy. So is the music bad? Do you watch these shows and think the music's bad?
He did How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the 2000 version. Does that mean that's the yucky Grinch? That's the Jim Carrey Grinch?
Yeah, I think it's the one you hate.
Ew. Now I don't know what to think.
Again, he's just the guy who does the music.
Yeah, he did Star Trek Insurrection.
Is the music good? He has nothing to do with the script or the acting.
He did IQ. I loved IQ.
All right, so he's back in. So this guy,
he did a bunch of Next Gen episodes.
He's had
Gremlins too.
He's had a long career, a successful career. He's just not well known. He's not well known. He's not your Williams.
Rambo: First Blood Part 2
or Silvestri.
What a stupid name. First Blood Part 2. Second time around.
Well, I thought they just changed at that point to Rambo. The first one was called Rambo First Blood or First Blood, and I don't even know if Rambo was in the title. Oh, so then this is the
second First Blood?
Yeah, but then at some point it just became Rambo.
Yeah.
Like Rambo 3.
The Menace.
Yeah, the first one didn't even have Rambo in the title. It was just First Blood. And now we're off track. I would like to talk more about Christopher Lloyd because
Me too.
He inspired an AIM name for me. I only had 3 different AOL/AIM screen names in my life. One was HBK21. That's the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
I
think I'm
what's
cute.
HBK stand for?
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that drive the girls wild. The other one was Christopher.
Was that your away message?
No, that was Shawn Michaels' theme. Do you not know Shawn Michaels' theme song?
I don't think so.
All right, let's see if I can find this.
Does Christopher Lloyd have anything to do with it?
No, but this is tying in. This is...
Yeah.
I think I'm cute. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks. The drive so cool. Wild, I've got the move. That really move 'em. I said chill. Up and down their spine. I'm just a sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
It sounds like something from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sexy boy.
Sexy boy.
I'm not your boy toy.
Boy toy.
Doesn't that sound like It's Always Sunny?
Yeah, it's a pretty ridiculous song, and I think that's why it has staying power.
Love that.
It's just so
I'm a
asinine.
sexy boy.
I haven't used asinine in a while, I realized, and I wanted to get it out there. So thank you. I wanted to incorporate it into the show again. So I'm glad that this gave me the opportunity to do so. But yes, HBK, Shawn Michaels, I would say for a time was my favorite wrestler. I don't have a favorite wrestler anymore, in case you couldn't have figured that out. And then we've established Christopher Lloyd as another screen name. And then the other one was just a bunch of random letters. I just smashed the keyboard and whatever came up is what I used. So I could never log out, because if I did, I would never remember how
You'd never be able to put in your username.
So that was more that was just an AIM one, and I was in college by that point, I think. Maybe I had made it before, but you just kept your computers logged in your dorm room. AIM was always on.
I want to go back to the thing you said about Christopher Lloyd and like the choices, like the little choices he made with his behavior in movies, because watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit, he had those big teeth in to be sort of that character, right? And just the way that I was just noticing him making mouth choices to make sure that like the teeth looked a certain way when he would say things. I just thought, oh, that's smart. That's good. I like that.
Did you realize that he doesn't blink?
No.
As Judge Doom, he doesn't blink at all. That was something that he decided to do. Because it makes the character more ominous as the bad guy.
Right, and it sort of lets you know that, like, cartoon, he wouldn't need to blink.
Yeah, that was the other half of it, was since he's, spoiler alert, actually a toon in disguise. I think he's quoted as saying something along the lines of, cartoons don't need to re-wet their eyes through blinking. So I didn't blink.
Re-wet their eyes. Weird. I love that. I love it.
I mean, it goes a long way. When I encounter people who are, I've brought this up before, I know, but like on the subway or on the streets, when somebody comes up and they're yelling, and if they look at you and you happen to make eye contact, and then you're stuck in that zone, because the best thing is always not to make eye contact and just don't give them any reason to latch on to you. But if you get to that point, you don't break eye contact and you don't blink. And it actually goes a long way. There's 3 times in my life, and I can't say for sure that it kept things from escalating, but I remember thinking clearly, all right, you're here, you guys are looking at each other, don't break eye contact, don't blink. And the person keeps yelling usually, but at some point it seems to make them uncomfortable and they break off and then they go somewhere else.
Well, it's establishing intimacy.
Well, the intimacy of eye contact, but then it's establishing something's not right. Why isn't this person blinking?
Yeah,
so
interesting. Maybe he's a toon that killed my brother.
Yeah, for Judge Doom, I think that's a very cool choice.
I can't believe in that movie that they killed that shoe. Right? They put him in the dip. I feel like in a movie, if that movie were made the exact same way now, they would have somehow saved that shoe from going in the dip. Because it's so cute. It's like mew, 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 next to his leg, and like sort of like a cat, like sort of rubbing up against him, and then he picks him up and he's so scared, and he's getting the dip.
This is what we were talking about in the pre-show with Sesame Street. You don't want the shoe to not be put in the dip.
It needed to establish that Judge Doom was a really bad guy.
Yeah, so when you
water it down by him not killing the shoe, then it does take away some of the tension.
Yeah, but you saying they would have found a way, and you seem sad, like you were on board with the idea of them finding a way to save it. You just like it because it was.
I'm always like, really. I guess I really didn't want them to kill the shoe.
There's stakes.
But I'm glad. But yeah, the reason why I felt that way was very important. They needed me to feel that way so that I would really dislike Christopher Lloyd's character.
Yeah, it's hard to kill cartoons and have people care much.
And that the shoe was so cute.
But so you have to go to extremes. Killing a cartoon for the most part is not going to make you weep. I guess Pixar can do it.
Oh my God, Pixar is like the master.
I guess Disney can do it because they kill a lot of parents in their movies. And the Lion King.
Every single Pixar movie is
Bambi.
starts off well, that's true. Oh my god, the part with they don't kill Dumbo's mom, but when she's locked up and she sticks her trunk out and like rocks him, and all of the other animals in the circus are like hugging their babies and they're singing the baby of mine. I am a puddle on the ground.
Because they're applying, you can put yourself in the position even though it's an elephant. And
the mom.
Yes.
And she didn't do anything wrong. She was protecting her baby from the mean kids.
It's still traits that, it's still experiences and things that happen that you can insert yourself into. Like in The Lion King, my dad came to save me and then he died. That'd be sad.
Yeah.
You would cry. In Looney Tunes, there are no stakes. The characters always come back. They're idiots to begin with. It's like, okay, Daffy Duck's beak's blown off again. I don't fucking care.
This means war.
If they really killed Daffy Duck, I wouldn't care. It wouldn't, because it's too many years of ridiculous service. Over the top.
Killing off Daffy Duck.
Yeah, it's like, whatever. But then
does Elmer Fudd hunt for Daffy Duck?
I think so.
No, I mean, just Bugs Bunny.
No, I think Elmer Fudd does.
My kids don't know who some of these characters are. Like there were characters and little sort of jokes in Who Framed Roger Rabbit that they don't understand. Like they don't really know who Bugs Bunny is. I think Pete called him like that carrot rabbit once. I don't think they know who like the Flintstones are or the Jetsons. They don't know who those.
Well, those have fallen off too. The Flintstones at least had infiltrated in other ways. Even the vitamins.
Well, the cereal and the vitamins.
They were still around. So if you didn't know, like when we were kids, it was on TV. You could watch the Flintstones and the Jetsons. I always preferred the Jetsons. The Flintstones was on though, and I would watch it sometimes. And same thing with Bugs Bunny. I think he was around enough. But if you think about it, they just did do a Space Jam though.
I didn't see Space Jam. I've never had a connection with Space Jam, but I feel like I watched all those those Looney Tunes.
It was on Nickelodeon also, remember?
Yeah. And the jokes that we didn't understand, like all of those like old celebrities, in like at a restaurant or like in a bar where it's like an old gangster character, or it's like it's Jimmy Durante, or it's I don't know, like you dirty rat, like I don't know, I didn't know who any of those people were, but they were all these cartoons from like the 40s that we were still watching. I still watched the Three Stooges sometimes, and like what is that gang of kids with like buckwheat?
Little Rascals.
Yeah, I watched some like Little Rascals. I was watching stuff from like the fucking 30s, I guess, somehow.
I mean, a lot of those references, if your kids were watching these days, they wouldn't get those references.
Yeah. Like even at the end when it's the pig guy who's like ibbity. I don't think they know who that is. Porky Pig.
Look, they had a long run.
Yeah. Now there's just too many ways of getting entertainment.
Who even owns them now? Does Disney finally own them?
Probably. Wouldn't it be Warner Brothers?
Oh yeah, so they're still Warner Brothers. You're right.
Yeah, it's
that makes sense. I just in my mind, Disney's owns everything. They've gotten their hands on it all by this point.
Mm-hmm. Well, who owns Warner Brothers? Does Disney secretly own Warner Brothers?
Not yet.
It's like the eyeglass company that actually owns all of those like Burberry, Coach, Chanel, Lens Crafters, Vision Works, like all of those Sunglass Hut. It all comes out of the same factory. It's called like Ionex or something is the company's name.
Which isn't surprising. It's the same for many things. If you look up all the companies that Amazon owns, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I had no clue. I think Zappos is one of those.
The what?
Zappos is one of those. Buy your shoes online. They were the first ones to do it correctly and right and well. You ever buy Zappos shoes? Okay. Anyway.
I know that this customer service is really good with Zappos.
Well, that was the thing. It was easy to return because you buy the shoes. If you're buying shoes online, you know, if they fit, returning's a big deal. We made it easy. There's only 5 studios left, like big ones. There's plenty of little studios, but Universal, Paramount, which is owned by CBS at this point. Universal, I think, is Comcast. Warner Brothers. No, it's Warner. I don't know if Warner Brothers is owned by a bigger entity. I'll look it up quickly.
Yeah, Jeff Bezos owns all of them.
Warner Brothers.
He's like secretly running all of them.
I think it's still, for the sake of this and not wasting too much time, I think they're still on their own. And then Walt Disney, which owns absolutely everything, and Columbia, which I'll do quick.
What about TriStar? What happened to that unicorn or whatever it was?
I mean, think of Miramax. I feel
Touchstone.
like Miramax films, there was a certain tone and feel to them that I liked. And then that's what turned it out to be Harvey Weinstein's fucking company eventually.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, great. So anytime, like I liked the city outline of Miramax when it would pop up on screen, and now you can't enjoy it at all because it's tied to that fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
That one's been ruined. TriStar's still around, I think.
I thought it went away.
Sony owns Columbia, so that makes sense.
It's weird that Comcast owns something like that. That's a cable company, right?
So TriStar's part of Sony now. It is. It still exists. Yes, Comcast is a cable company. Cable.
Could you imagine, like, when cable first came about, that you'd be like, yeah, one day a cable company is going to own a studio.
They own NBC. I think they own...
Isn't that a conflict of interest? Shouldn't they be their own entity?
There used to be... I mean, it was strange to think about NBC used to be owned by RCA at first, and then it was GE, which really had nothing to do. GE had their name on Rockefeller Center, and then Comcast bought it, which people... It's so strange when that change happens. People are rebelling against it, putting up a fight, protesting. It's still one giant corporation, a corporate entity that sold it to another, and somehow you're becoming attached to GE. Sentimental, because the GE's always been up on that building. It's still General Electric, though they did fall off. Comcast, I understand what you're saying, though. It's strange that they were able to become so big.
Yeah, it's weird that to me it seems like you should, if you own something like Coke, right? You should start a whole other company behind, like, outside of Coke, and buy TriStar Pictures. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like as Coke should not own it. I kind of feel the same way about these stadiums. I feel like these stadium names are really annoying.
Well, that's just licensing.
Change all the time.
They don't own it. They just license it, so the owners make money off of it.
Okay, well, I wish that stadiums were named like, actual names that are kind of interesting and not like,
Not enough money. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's very expensive.
T-Mobile Stadium.
It's very expensive to run a sports team, which I guess it is. But the amount of money that comes in, it's like, shut up.
Yeah.
But you want more money if you were running a business, Autumn.
Bic Pens, the stadium.
If the Braves hadn't had their stadium called Turner Field, maybe they wouldn't have moved to the suburbs.
So no, I like that it's called Turner Field. It's a person.
Yeah, it's a person who was important to the history of the team.
Yes. So let's call it that.
Now you have
Don't
Truist.
call it fucking SunTrust, Truist, BBG Field. Shut up.
Comcast owns DreamWorks.
Gatorade, the field.
At least that's a tie-in.
Yeah, at least that's a tie-in.
That makes more sense.
Starbucks, the soccer ball.
Comcast owns DreamWorks too.
That's what it feels like to me.
Does that upset you?
What is it?
DreamWorks.
What about it?
Comcast owns them.
Yeah, to me, DreamWorks is owned by Richie Cunningham, that director from Happy Days. What's his name?
DreamWorks to me in my mind was always a bunch of people who were like the
Happy
poor
Days. Ron Howard. Sorry,
the poor man Pixar. They wanted to be in Pixar and they were told they weren't good enough, and then they went to DreamWorks.
I think that did happen. Did you watch that Pixar documentary?
No.
Like when Pixar was sort of getting weird for a minute, I think a lot of people moved to that. Did Ron Howard own that DreamWorks for a while.
Owned by
Yeah.
Mr. Howard and producer Brian Grazer.
Yeah, so yeah, that's what I always think of when I see that. I always think of him being on the Andy Griffith Show, and he climbed up on the moon and he started fishing. Christopher Lloyd.
What was the one? One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yes, yeah.
Where he, to prepare for that role, he lived in a psychiatric hospital apparently for a few weeks. Which, fine, if you want to get into the mindset. But I hear there was some method acting going on, and he wouldn't break character on set. Which
That's annoying.
that is annoying. That's a point
But he
against.
was young.
Yeah, he was young.
I'm sure he broke character on the Addams Family. You know what I mean? He wasn't Uncle Fester the entire time.
It's really it's how you treat other people. If you're making other people's lives harder by doing that, fuck you. If you're just doing it and you're not bothering others, then whatever you need to do. But I think of what's his name? 30 Seconds to Mars, Jared Leto, idiot.
Yeah.
When he does his method acting, like other people are put out by this.
Right. He's like setting people's pants on fire or something.
Yeah, or I'm a blind guy, so he needs to have people walk him around and lead him to places and help him with things he doesn't actually need help with.
How about try acting?
That's one of the arguments.
Yeah. This is called acting. This isn't called doing. Do you kind of hate it? Like walkie-talkie, movie, acting? No, I guess not.
No,
All right, never mind.
no, it doesn't fit at all.
doesn't, sorry.
Brian Cox, he's an actor who can just snap into it and snap out. He's had comments that I've seen about method actors. He's like, I don't understand it. He's like, you do the scene, you're the character, scene's done, call cut, I'm myself, then I can get back into it.
Yeah. Doesn't that make sense?
It makes
You're
sense to
playing
me.
a character.
It makes sense to me,
Yeah.
but I'm not an actor, and I guess if you're
I
playing,
like Brian Cox.
if you're playing,
I didn't really know that was his name. I just know that actor.
if you're playing a demanding role, maybe it's easier to stay in it. I have no clue, but I would.
Sorry.
What, you want to do another show about Brian Cox? Okay.
Yeah, was he in Annie?
I don't know. I think
Was
so.
that him? I loved Annie.
Okay, so let's play your game now.
Oh, I don't think he was in Annie. I think that was someone else. Punjab.
Let's play your game.
Okay, let's go. Christopher Lloyd movies. You said One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
And you can't do Back to the Future 1, 2, or 3.
I think you should just say Back to the Future, and that's one episode. Like, that's one.
Okay.
All right, so did you start or did I start?
And are we doing Dennis the Menace? That's already out.
All right, Dennis the Menace is out.
Okay.
All right. Addams Family.
What was he in just recently with Saul?
Oh.
Nobody. which
Is
was
that good?
fun.
Did you watch that?
Nobody's fun. It's a lot like John Wick in a way. Where
Okay,
there's
I
a
haven't seen
small
it. Is that the screen the picture where he's like getting punched in the face?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got a past life. A small event triggers him and brings him back to the past life. Well, in John Wick, I guess the killing of your dog isn't a small event. That's pretty sad. Your puppy gets killed. But something pulls him back in, and then Christopher Lloyd's his dad. And at some point, he goes for him to talk to him for a little bit of help. And I really like the appearance in that movie. It's fun. It's a fun watch overall, too. It's fast. It's not one of these drawn out 2.5 hour movies.
All right, I'll check it out. All right, he was in Taxi. Did you ever watch him in Taxi?
That's not a movie.
Oh, it doesn't count?
Well, I thought you said movies, but sure, Taxi. I didn't really watch Taxi, which I guess
You might like it a lot.
I think
'cause
I
it's
would.
like old New York.
Well, it's a sitcom, so how much is it set? I understand that it's set in old New York, but it's all done on a set in LA, probably.
It is, but it's also like looks gritty because it's from the 70s.
Maybe they filmed it here on a set. They used to do.
I doubt it. I'm sure it was in LA.
Well, they used to do sitcoms in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just holding out hope. And also, Andy Kaufman was in it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which I'm surprised that. Yeah,
I fell in love. I love Latka.
Okay, so that counts.
Okay.
He was in Clue, right?
Yes, he was in Clue. He was always hitting on what's her name in Green. And she was really annoyed by him. He was a therapist. He had sex with his patient or something. And that was his patient who came to the door. Da 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 da. I am your singing telegram.
Yeah, you're into Clue a lot.
I love Clue. It shocked me to find out that people didn't like Clue, that they don't understand it and they thought it was dumb. And I was like, what? Love Clue. Clue was amazing.
What do you think of the different endings that were released in different theaters?
I thought that was an interesting thing to do. What a fun, different way of putting out a movie.
What if you went to see it a few other times, though, because you're trying to get the other ending? And
it was the same ending?
Yeah. I would have felt cheated at that point.
You have to like slip a 20 to the movie person. Like,
I wonder how you knew before the internet.
Well, you would just talk about it, right? See, what a fun little prank to play, right?
Yeah, I know you would talk about it, but how would you know that you're going to see the proper one?
I don't think you would know. I think that's the thing.
Okay, what else you got? Because I'm already running out of movies.
Oh, he was in Mr. Mom. He was a colleague of Michael Keaton's.
I'm trying to remember. It's not coming to mind. But I only saw Mr. Mom once.
Oh, Mr. Mom is really good.
And I get it confused with the one with Hulk Hogan quite often. Mr. Nanny.
That one?
I think that was Mr. Nanny. Like they're mixed in my mind.
That makes sense.
So it's hard for me to keep them straight.
Do you have another one?
I would have to watch again. I don't know if I do.
He was in Star Trek: The Search for Spock. He was really good in that one. Played a Klingon.
I mean, he was in so much. This is not doing justice to the man. Because if you do look up his filmography, which I'm now going to pull up.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. Let's see.
I don't even know the number, but you scroll through this and there's a lot. Do you know? Here's the thing that was interesting. You were talking about Back to the Future, and out of all the movies, Back to the Future 3 was his favorite. And
really?
While most people would say that it was their least favorite. It was because he got to kiss Ted Danson's wife, Mary Steenburgen. Is that correct?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And apparently that was the only time in his career that he had a romantic interest on screen. He was always this guy.
What about Debbie?
What year was this? Debbie, what was Debbie from?
Adam's Family?
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. Did they make out in that?
She did.
Did they kiss?
I don't know if she actually kissed him.
I think the thing I'm talking about is kissing. So maybe by saying romantic interest. I also could be wrong, but it was something that I came across. And maybe at the time that was the first time and there could have been more after it. So
he's excited to do it, to kiss.
But he isn't really in a spot quite often where they write him. He's always playing a secondary, weirdo, strange character.
Bad guy.
Yeah, some
he was
complex.
in Anastasia.
He's never
he
the
was
lead.
Rasputin. Did you like Anastasia? He was Rasputin.
I didn't see it.
Oh, really? Oh, man. Anastasia's a great non-Disney movie, like animated movie.
I didn't see it. So I can't speak to it. I apologize for leaving you hanging on that one.
I'm trying to think what else is he in.
Or are you just trying to think if there's a spot where he was just a regular guy who had a woman who liked him? Doesn't come up. It doesn't really come up that often. Apparently, Back to the Future 3.
Well, he's a character actor. A lot of like character. Like, has Steve Buscemi ever had a love interest?
Probably not. And there's nothing wrong with it. I'm happy to watch movies that don't fall into that category.
Right.
Where it's a tale of romance driving a person, inspiring them to do great things. That can be done without trying to impress another person.
Mm-hmm.
But Back to the Future 3, yes, he got to kiss Mary, and that meant a lot to him. Although he almost didn't. Apparently, when he first got this script for Back to the Future, he had agreed to do a play that he was excited about,
mm-hmm.
and he didn't even read the script, and he threw it to the side. And somebody said, "Hey, at least read it." And he thought to himself, "Yeah, if someone's interested in me, the least I can do is have the courtesy to read it." So it's always easy to say in hindsight, that wouldn't have been the same without that person. Sure, it wouldn't have been the same without the person, but you don't know what it would have been. I did hear that through the grapevine, and by hear, I mean I read somewhere, like John Lithgow was in the running for Doc. John Candy. I think
John
Danny.
Lithgow makes sense. John Candy, no.
Yeah, John Candy's tough. Danny DeVito, I don't think so. That wouldn't have worked. Though. And Marty being taller than Danny, than Doc. I like Danny a lot. I
do too.
I don't have
But yeah,
anything
you're
against. I just don't see. I can see him being eccentric,
Yeah.
but I don't know if
And like sort of like harried, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and I think Robin. Speaking of that, Robin Williams was another person.
He wouldn't.
It would have been too much of a scene stealer.
You needed Doc to be eccentric, but still a scientist.
Yeah, not someone look at me, here I am. Like
don't disparage the name of Robin Williams.
I'm not, but that's what he brings.
Yeah, I love Robin Williams.
And then Gene Wilder, apparently. I thought you would like that one.
Oh, I love that, but he's too old back then. I feel like he'd be too old.
How old was he in 85? Well, I think the thing was being old in 85 was okay because Christopher Lloyd had to wear prosthetics as the older Doc in 85 because most of the movie was him being his not younger, but younger than 85 self 30 years prior in 1955. So that was actually what he looked like at the time. So to have Gene Wilder, they had made him look younger, which is harder than making.
So he was born in 33. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So he was 50.
Oh, he was only 50 something. It may have worked.
Yeah, it may have worked.
Yeah, it could have worked.
But I feel like Gene Wilder has such a sometimes has such a quietness to him and like calmness that I don't.
So it's the opposite of what we were just saying about some of those other people.
Yeah.
See, and that's why you can say, "Wow, it wouldn't have been the same." Just like Marty when Stoltz was in the running and they'd started shooting with him. And it just wasn't working.
I'm glad that they changed their mind.
How do you feel though if you're him?
Nah, you just.
Well, he was kind of done at that point, right?
What?
What happened to his career after that? Eric Stoltz.
Oh, I thought he did other things.
He probably did. I don't follow so closely, so in my mind, that was it. That was the end. Oh yeah, he was in TV. Oh, he's fine. He did plenty.
Yeah, he's fine.
He kept going.
Oh my God, he was in Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah, that's right. See, I just like to think.
Fine.
I like to think of people breaking and falling into despair. Yeah, looking at his filmography, he was fine. Sorry, go ahead.
What's interesting about actors now, it kind of sucks for people who are trying to get into the business as far as like voiceover work, but the last thing I noticed Christopher Lloyd doing was this show on PBS called like Cyber Chase, I think. It had Gilbert Gottfried as a voice also.
What was it about?
It was, it's PBS, so it's like educational. So it was like, I don't know, like a computer. I didn't really watch it really. I just would turn it on. The kids would sometimes watch it when we were watching more PBS. And I don't know, something about like it was he played a bad guy. Gilbert played like a little thing that was also like a henchman or something. And then it's something like hacking computers or like kid characters had to solve something. It's all
okay.
Anyway, but I think it's cool. Like I said, it sucks for actors who are trying to get in, but it's neat to watch all of these animated shows that have these actors. So you're listening to it and I'm like, hey, that's Eric Stone Street, or hey,
that's that famous person who keeps faceless voice actors from getting work.
Well, it's funny. So the guy that plays Morty? Whatever the one is, not the kid. Like, oh boy. Oh, Morty. Right?
Sure.
Oh boy, right?
I have feelings about that show and I don't like it. But.
So he was, playing some other time traveling character in some totally unrelated show that my kids are watching. I'm like, hey, is that Morty? And Travis was around. He was like, it's just some other character. But He has the same exact voice. He didn't change the voice at all.
I find that show to be blasphemous.
Why?
Who's the asshole creator? Not Dan Harmon, the other guy.
I was going to say Dan Harmon, but I don't, yeah.
There was another guy, and when he was talking about the show, his reasoning for wanting to do is, I just wanted Doc and Marty to fuck. I wanted a show where Doc and Marty would fuck. And he thought he was like really clever and funny and shocking with it. And I thought it was pretty hack and dumb. Yes, we've questioned the relationship. I thought it was nice. There was I've had friends who are much older than me. There's an interesting people that you can learn things from and share ideas with. Maybe you teach them a few things since they're getting old and decrepit.
It is Dan Harmon.
Dan Harmon is one of the creators. It's just
Justin Roiland?
Yeah, yes, that guy.
Oh, okay.
And I can't even commit his name to memory. And
That's fine. His name is Roiland.
That was the pitch for the show. And then, of course, he had to pull it back a bit, and he was never going to get the rights to do it. And now they have the show, which maybe is good, maybe it's funny. I did, just to tie it into Christopher Lloyd, I read that he wanted to play Rick's
he was
dad.
Yeah.
In an episode.
Rick's dad?
Well, because the show's already set with its voice actors, he would like to do an episode where he comes in and it's Rick's dad or something.
Oh, okay.
But
no, this person, I'm sure he just said that, right, to just be provocative.
Yeah, then fine. But I think
it's
it's
also
cheap.
lame.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever the reasons. So I've never watched an episode, and I
tried to get into it. I could not.
Good.
Yeah.
As far as my feelings on it go, good. I'm glad that you were unable to get into that show. One less viewer for them.
Also, BoJack Horseman, I tried to get into, and I could not.
I never even tried.
People talked about like how meaningful it was to them. I remember there were like some TikToks at the season finale or around, like people were crying or something. I was like, this is having some effect. And I know that people that I respect, their sense of humor liked it. So I was like, oh, all right.
From what I know,
but
it's a thoughtful, insightful show.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's still a horse though, with like a person with a horse head.
I know, but like I'm crying at zeros and ones when I watch Toy Story 4.
I understand.
Toy Story 3, really.
We've already established this. If you can create a scenario that it makes it easy enough to insert yourself, then it doesn't matter what you're seeing on screen. And it's probably what happened with BoJack Horseman. I have nothing against that one. I just haven't watched it.
If Christopher Lloyd was in it, maybe it would be better.
Maybe it would have lured me in Christopher Lloyd. He is getting old, and that's what worries me a bit. The hands of time are going to snatch him from us.
Well, I guess when you get older, you can just go into voice acting. You can just like chill.
I think he's still doing stuff. And when you get old, I think maybe you get tired too, but he's still doing plenty.
He was born in 1938.
It does feel as though, what is he, 83? Does it put him at 80? No.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, if he was born, what do you say, 38?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So maybe he's 84. This is not hard to figure out. It's
83.
It's very easy to.
I was about to say 90. I was like, wait, no.
It's not hard to.
I can't do math.
To look up. I always think of acting, if it's something you enjoy doing, like that. Obviously, if you're an actor and you've got success, I would hope it's fun and something you like. And as you get older, you would want to continue to do it. I think letting go of something like that's hard. It's like, okay, my days are done. I'm finished.
Absolutely. That's how I feel about retiring.
Well, most people are happy to retire because they hate their jobs.
Right. But yeah, that's true. But also, now what? What are you going to do now? People who retire are not like traveling and taking trips and like, they're used to their little chair and they're used to their pillows. And so like, they don't want to have any discomfort because they have a bad hip. Once you retire, it's like, keep working, make some money. Maybe you don't have to work, the way that you were before, like 9 to 5, rushing, doing blah, blah, blah. But you could just, don't be a Walmart greeter, but just do something else.
Well, it's like my dad. He retired, but he still goes and paints friends' houses.
It's like, please give me something to do.
He's constantly staying busy. But at some point, your body breaks down enough. You can't do all that anymore. Then you have to have a nice pillow and a nice chair.
Or you just keep, your body doesn't do that because you're continuing to move the body and it's staying, You're
saying I should stretch, huh? That's what you're saying. I should stretch.
I am. Yes. This whole episode, I was waiting to get to this point. This whole show, the whole podcast at all. I've just been waiting for us to get right here where I could give you a come to Jesus about moving your body and stretching it.
I need to stretch. Well,
you really do.
You
can't sit down. You can't sit down on the floor.
I can sit down on the floor. I can't cross my legs like
weird
crisscross applesauce or whatever it's called these days.
You need to be able to do that.
And I can't touch my toes.
Also,
it hurts.
Take much
it
time
hurts
for you
to
get
stretch.
there.
No, I was trying to stretch. I did it for 2 days in a row. It was too much. It's not comfortable. It's not fun.
You need like PT. You need physical therapy.
My retirement's I'm going to be glued to the chair. The lazy boy.
You're going to be stiff as just a stiff corpse that's still alive. Rigor mortis. That's what they're going to call you.
Oh, it's too much like
Morty.
Yeah, it's too much
like. What's his name? Morty?
It's too much like the name of that show. All right, that inspires me to get moving, so I don't have any connection to that.
There you go.
That
I'm gonna
blasted
call you Rig and
cartoon.
Morty. All right, we got to end it because I got to go. Thanks, everybody. I wish we had talked more about Christopher Lloyd. We got sort of off on tangents, but I think we did okay. Please like and subscribe, rate and review, tell your friends, listen to the show, download the show, all of that jazz. If you want to support our sponsor, you can go to hoffandpepper.com, use our code OneTopic15 to get some locally made in Chattanooga hot sauce that's really delicious, made by my friend, Michelle. Oh.
Yes, thanks for the full disclosure.
Well, I'm just proud of it. So.
I know you're proud. It's also nice to disclose the fact that it's your friend.
Absolute disclose she's my friend. All right, love you guys. Bye.